Hey guys, I'm DGM and I'm here bringing you some magic, and today I'm going to be doing a real life draft. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but the new set came out, Dragon's Maze, and it's drafted with the other two sets in the block, RTR and Gate Crash, so it's pretty interesting. I've never actually kind of done this. I played Innistrad and then we added Dark Ascension to that, but that wasn't so bad. But I've never done something like draft all of a format and then draft all of a format and then all of a sudden go back and put the other two packs back in. So it was pretty exciting. I haven't played RTR in a while, but I still remember most of the cards and everything that they do. Anyway, my first pack, I have a pretty tough decision. I've got a Ruric Thar, a Spike Jester, and a Rubble Belt Maka. It's really between Ruric Thar and Spike Jester. I think Spike Jester's a good card, but I really wanted to try out Ruric Thar. I think he's a little bit more powerful. It's really hard to tell because one of them is a 6-drop and one of them is a 2-drop. So obviously Ruric Thar will do more towards winning the game for you, but you also have to measure out the loss that you get by having to wait until land drop 6 in order to even cast it. But then I'm going to follow it up with another 6-drop, a Scab Clan Giant. And I think this was probably even the best card in the pack, even though it was also my color, so it was pretty easy to take that card. I would have been happy if I had taken the Spike Jester too, because I could have gotten a Rakdos Drake in the second pack. But man, I was like, alright, well I've got these two super expensive cards, so now I need to start taking like ramp or small creatures or something like that, and then I just get past the Zerta Druid. So this draft could literally not be going any better. There was also Fatal Fumes in that pack though, so I mean if I went the Rakdos route I still would have been pretty happy. And I think that there was another really good red-black card. Was there another Spike Jester in this pack? I think so. Yeah, that's another Spike Jester. So, I mean, really, either way, I would have been happy. So there's also that Gorgon in this pack, the 2/5 Death Touch for 5 that also has like an ability that you can pay 2 to remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature and give -1/-1 to another creature. But I'm just gonna grab a Battering Crisis here over a Crawl Warrior. I'm not really sure which one's better in general, but I felt like my deck was going to be more mid-rangey than aggressive, so I'd rather have the 3-drop than the 2-drop. And then right here, my decision isn't that difficult. I think there's another one of those Gorgons, but I mean, Fatal Fumes is really good, and since I'm already in red-green, I can easily splash it. I guess I really could have splashed any color, but I can easily splash it. So anyway, there's that split card. It's Armed and Dangerous. Not really the best one. It's not the worst one. I didn't think it was that good, but if you fuse them together, they're ridiculous, because you can give like a 5/5 or even like a 4 power guy or whatever, +1/+1 and double strike, and then make everyone else attack something else. So you basically just get in for all that damage, and a good chance you're going to win. But there's some really powerful cards in this pack. There is a Carnage Gladiator, which is one of my favorite cards in the set, and there's also a Thrashing Moss Dog, and at first glance that card doesn't seem so good. It's just a 4-mana 3/3 reach, but it also has Scavenge for 4 green. So a 4-mana 3/3 is obviously okay, not great. Once you toss on reach to it, then you're really happy, because even a giant spider, a 2/4 reach, is usually valued pretty highly, and I think this thing is a lot better because you can pretty easily go aggressive with it, and it still is able to block and pretty much eat most of the flyers in the format, so it's really good. And then the fact that you toss on Scavenge as well, and you actually have a pretty formidable card. Anyway, not really too much in this pack for me. I mean, there's a Deputy of Acquittals for someone who's pretty happy, but I'm just going to take this Ceruli Gatekeepers. I think that's what it's called. It's probably the worst one, and I don't have any gates yet, so there's really no chance that I'm going to be playing it, unless I really am short on playables. And I guess Crawl Warrior and Battering Crisis must be in the same print run, because I see them again in the same pack, and that's a little bit ridiculous. So now I have to make the decision. Do I want to finally take a 2-drop, because all I have is that Zerta Druid, so if I'm playing against an aggressive deck, I could be put at a huge disadvantage. And Battering Crisis really isn't even that good as a 3-drop if they're playing an aggressive deck. So it's really, do I want to hedge against aggressive decks, or do I want to make my deck a little bit more powerful? Because I think that Battering Crisis is a more powerful card, but it opens me up to losing to an aggressive deck more. And I end up first taking the Battering Crisis, putting it in my pile of cards, then putting the pack down. Obviously, if this was like a draft outside, then I wouldn't do this, but it's just my friends, and it's not really a big deal. And so I put the pack down, and then my friend's about to take it, but I'm just like, you know what, I'm going to go with this. So then I end up taking the Crawl Warrior over the Battering Crisis. I'm really not sure which one I would have rather had in the end, but it worked out. So this pack is pretty interesting, since normally I hate Cluestones, but I kind of wanted a Cluestone with my 2 6-drops already, in this deck, and I thought that they would be really good, and I get a Gruul one or a Rakdos one, so, or maybe, yeah, it was Gruul or Rakdos, but I also see a Toil and Trouble, and I really want to play this card. I think it's good, and I think it would be really sweet in the deck, so I decided to take it instead. And I think in the end, I would have rather had the Cluestone, mainly because I'm going to see the other Toil Trouble make it right back to me, so that's not really a big deal. Anyway, there's a give-take here, which I probably should have gone for over this Maze Rusher. I already have 2 6-drop creatures, so it seems unlikely that I would play that, and give is reasonable. I mean, you can put 3+1/+1 counters on a creature, but yeah, anyway, I'm going to take the Toil Trouble here. And, I mean, I don't really want to be playing 2 of them, especially since I'm not in base black. I need to get a ton more fixing if I want this to actually work out for me. Anyway, I'm just going to hate a Murmuring Phantasm. That card's okay, it's not great, but I think my neighbor could have used it in the end. Anyway, I have a really tough decision here. I mean, these 2 cards are both playable. It's Amara Tandris, which is the Selesnya Guild Champion, and Morgburst, which is also a playable card, and it's in my colors, so I'm just going to go for that and just hope my neighbor isn't in Selesnya. But yeah, it's pretty funny. I just gave him a last pick rare, and I think that's actually a playable rare too. But anyway, I opened a Stolen Identity, not really for me, but it's a really sweet card. And I'm just scrolling through the pack, nothing, and then finally, hey, a Croconura. So this is going to be an easy pick, because there's really nothing. I'm not going to play a Ruination Worm. I already have a billion 6-drops, and I definitely don't need any more. So I'm just going to go with the Croconura, and I'm pretty happy about that. I mean, Croconura is sweet. As I said, Giant Spider 2-4 for 4 is playable. This thing is almost always a 2-4 for 3. So about this pack, which is pretty interesting, my neighbor was, to my left, was thinking about it for a really long time, what he wanted to take. He ended up going with what he showed me later as a Gore-Clan Rampager, so that would have been sweet in the deck. But, I mean, I still get a Crown Ceratok. Obviously nowhere near as good since most of my creatures with counters, Battering Crisis already has Trample, and there aren't that many creatures with counters. I guess I could get some in the last pack if I get some Splatter Thugs and House Chainwalkers. But yeah, those are okay with Trample. Anyway, I really wanted to take that 3-mana Fixer and Ramper in the Verdant Haven here, but I see a Pit Fight, and you just don't get the opportunity to get removal that often. And in this deck, Pit Fight is going to be so sweet, especially after getting 2 Crown Ceratoks in a row. Anyway, gonna grab a Disciple of the Old Ways here. Never upset to be playing that guy, especially if I have access to red mana. He becomes pretty sweet. Then there's this pack. Not really much in it. I mean, none of the cards are unplayable, except for maybe like 1 or 2. I don't know. I can't exactly see all of them. Most of the cards are playable. They're just not very good for me. So I'm just gonna grab a Burst of Strength. And speaking of cards that are good for me, Miming Slime. Man, this card is awesome in this deck. It gets better. You'll see how. But I mean, with 2 Crown Ceratoks already, that's the 3-mana spell is just easily going to be able to be gigantic, and especially since it's not very good with Ruric Thar because you take 6 damage from it if you want to cast it, but you do get a 6/6, so I guess that sort of works. Anyway, this is the pack that I opened. Not much in it still. Still not going to take the Ruination Worm. Just going to hate a Gifts of Orzhova, and after hating a Nimbus Swimmer, so the last few cards I haven't really gotten anything great. Wildwood Rebirth, not too good in my deck. And then this is basically just a dead pack. I don't know why I was thinking about it for so long. I was just like, which one of these should I take? And then I was like, wait a second, this doesn't matter at all. I'm going to grab an Oozeflux here, which I think has a potential to be really good in this format because I guess you don't really want to be taking the counters off your Rakdos guys, but like you could unleash and then take the counters off. I don't know, I guess it was probably just better when you got 3 packs of Gatecrash so you could get more Evolve. Anyway, this pack's okay. I see an Explosive Impact. Trestle Troll, but I'm not really in black. And then I'm just going to be like, whatever, I'll take this Rakdos Cackler. I mean, I don't want to be super aggressive, but it gives me the adaptability to be aggressive if I need to. If my opponent's being really slow and stuff, then I can do that. My neighbor opens a Hypersonic Dragon, and I see a Launch Party, a Centaur's Herald, and a Thrillkill Assassin, but again, I'm not really in black, so I think I would rather take the Centaur's Herald than Thrillkill Assassin. If I were in black, then it would definitely be Thrillkill, because I don't really have I don't have anything to do with tokens or populate. So it's basically just a 3/3 for 3, which is a sweet card, but it's nowhere near as good as the power level of a Thrillkill Assassin, which, I mean, it can block and kill anything if you wanted to as a 2-drop, or you can just make it a 2/3, and it's a sweet attacker, and they have to basically 2-for-1 themselves if they don't have a big enough creature, or they just have to trade down. So anyway, there's a launch party, a Righteous Authority. I just shipped a Hypersonic Dragon, and turns out my neighbor to my left was in red, white, blue. So those two cards were pretty sweet for him. Anyway, this pack was really interesting, and I think that some people are going to disagree. So there's an Ogre Jailbreaker, again, not really in black, but all the cards in this pack are black that I'm thinking of taking. Sewer Shambler, Sluiceway Scorpion, Ogre Jailbreaker. I don't have that many gates, I have one, so it's definitely not worth taking that. So it's really between Sewer Shambler and Sluiceway Scorpion, and I think most people would say Sluiceway Scorpion is significantly better than Sewer Shambler, and I think that was the case in RTR. But now that people are trying to run a lot more colors, I think that it makes more sense to take the Sewer Shambler. Plus the fact that it's a 3-drop and I already have a bunch of 4-drops, I decided to go with Shambler, even though that may have been a little controversial. There's some okay cards in this pack. I'm going to go for an Augur Spree. I mean, obviously that card's good, but it kind of tells me that I need to splash, and I don't really want to splash because I don't have great fixing. All I have is that one Guild Gate, and it's just not really enough to make the splash worth it and good. But yeah, I'm just going to grab a Cobble Brute here. Nothing too exciting about this pack, and I don't really want to be playing more 4-drops. But then out of nowhere, I get this Rakdos Key Rune, and oh my god, this was ridiculous. Not only is it a way to fix my mana and ramp my mana, but it also can become a creature. Like, that was actually just the best card I could have hoped for in this situation. Anyway, there's like a Tavern Swindler in the pack, and maybe I should have gone for that, but I don't really think I'm in black. I guess I may as well talk about it now because the draft is coming to a close, but until after the draft, I didn't realize that I had drafted more black cards than red cards, so it turns out when I was passing that Thrill Kill Assassin and stuff, I really should have been taking it since I'm in Golgari and I'm really just splashing the red, and unfortunately I couldn't play the Zertod Druid, which would have been sweet in the deck, but I didn't have enough red to play it, so all I really did was splash for the 3 big red cards, Morgburst, Scab Clan Giant, and Ruric Thar, and then the Augur Spree. So none of those red cards really needed red on time, so yeah, that was basically it. And that's going to be the draft. So now here's the deck that I ended up going with: 3 Centaurs, Herald of Cackler, Disciple of the Old Ways, Crawl Warrior, Pit Fight, Stonefair Crocodile, Croconator, Sewer Shambler, Battering Crisis, 4 spells there: Miming Slime, Rakdos Charm, Augur Spree, and Toil Trouble, Sluiceway Scorpion, Thrash Molding, Thrashing Molderer, and yeah, anyway, you guys get to see the deck. I couldn't keep up. I was too fast at moving the camera. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and have a wonderful day. Bye. Oh yeah, stay tuned for the gameplay, which I will be posting within the next few days.